I have never been more awful to someone who deserved it less. And I have never regretted anything faster. Here's what happened the morning after the Coltrane text. My mother called. Not with warmth in her voice. With that particular careful tone she uses when she has something difficult to say and has been rehearsing it. She told me that Lola had mentioned the arrangement to the extended family. That Tita Rosario had already posted about it on the family group chat. That my second cousin in San Diego had sent a congratulations message with 3 wedding bell emojis. The family group chat. The one with 47 people in it. I felt the walls close in so fast I could barely breathe. Everything I had been carefully managing, the feelings I was slowly allowing myself to have, the fragile thing being built between me and David, the private pace of it, all of that was suddenly public. Suddenly a family project. Suddenly something that belonged to 47 people and their opinions and their expectations. And I did what I do when I feel cornered. I burned it down. I called David. Not to talk. I called him to end it. I told him I had thought about it and I didn't want to proceed. I told him the arrangement was a bad idea and that we were both adults who had been swept along by our family's enthusiasm and that we should use the out clause before it expired. I was very calm. I was very articulate. I used phrases like mutually beneficial exit and clean resolution, like I was closing a business deal and not detonating something that mattered. He was quiet for a long time after I finished. Then he said, Maya, is this what you actually want, or is this what you do when something scares you? And I said, and I am not proud of this, I said, don't do that. Don't psychoanalyze me. I'm telling you my decision. Another silence. Okay, he said. Quietly. I told you I'd respect it. I will. A pause. I hope you're okay. He hung up. I sat on my bathroom floor for 20 minutes. Jess came over that evening because she always knows when I need her without being told, and she sat on the floor with me. We are a family that sits on floors during crises, apparently, and she didn't say I told you so. She just handed me a takeout container and waited. I told her what I'd done. She was quiet for a moment. Then, do you actually not want him? Or do you not want to be told you have to have him? And there it was. The exact question I had been refusing to ask myself. Because those are two completely different things. And I had been treating them like they were the same. I didn't answer her. I asked her instead to take me to Lola's. It was late. Lola was in her chair watching her shows, and she looked at me when I came in with the eyes of a woman who had been expecting this visit. I sat down across from her and I asked her something I had never asked before. I asked her why. Not why she wanted me to get married. I asked her why David specifically. Why this man? Why now? And Lola put her remote down and she told me something I didn't know. She told me that 30 years ago, Richard Chen's family had helped her and my grandfather when they first came to this country. When everything was hard and uncertain and my grandfather was sick and they had almost nothing. The Chens had been there. Not with conditions. Just there. She said she had watched David grow up from a distance. She said she had watched him become a man his father was proud of and a man who reminded her of my grandfather, not in looks, but in the particular quality of his steadiness. The way he didn't leave. She looked at me and she said, I am not trying to own your life, Mahal. I am trying to give you something I recognize. Whether you take it is yours to decide. I cried on my grandmother's shoulder for the first time since I was 12 years old. And then I drove home and I looked at my phone and I saw that David had texted me after our call. Just one line. For what it's worth, I don't regret any of it. Not one night of it. I had been so afraid of being trapped that I had built the trap myself. I had taken something that was freely given and turned it into a cage by refusing to see the door. The door had been open the whole time. I just had to decide if I was brave enough to walk through it towards something instead of away from it. I picked up my phone. I typed, I'm sorry. I was scared. Can we talk? I stared at it for 60 seconds. And then I hit send. I hit send. And then I put the phone face down on the table and I pressed my hands flat against the wood and I breathed. Because I had just done the scariest thing I had ever done. Not the arrangement. Not the family dinner. Not even the night I first met him. This. Choosing, on purpose, to stop running. And now all I could do was wait to see if it was too late. Stay tuned for the next part.